Hello, this is Tony Heller from RealClimateScience.com, setting the record straight about climate. The newspaper Guardian wants young people to get angry at the people who are keeping them alive. This article was published last week in The Guardian. If you're under 34, you've never experienced a month of below average temperatures. Of course the Extinction Rebellion protesters are angry. You should be too. This week has seen a mass worldwide protest on climate change. The Extinction Rebellion is playing for keeps, and the protesters are setting out to make noise and force politicians and authorities to deal with them. And they have a very scary picture to go along with this of a guy watching the sunset over the ocean. Something about the sun being yellow is supposed to frighten you. The evidence for the catastrophe we are supposed to be experiencing is this piece of paper which Brian Cox is holding. The piece of paper has a line drawn on it which is supposed to terrify us. The line on this piece of paper has brought people out in the streets blocking traffic, keeping emergency vehicles going through, and keeping children out of school. Personally, I'm not convinced that young people have never seen cold weather. A few months ago, the same newspaper, The Guardian, was reporting on people dying in record cold in Chicago. Polar Vortex 2019, 8 dead as Arctic air spreads across Midwest. Thousands of flights canceled, schools closed, and post office halts deliveries as Chicago lows approach record. Frozen Arctic winds brought record low temperatures across much of the U.S. Midwest on Wednesday as a blast of Arctic air known as the Polar Vortex unnerved residents accustomed to brutal winters. As of Wednesday evening, at least 8 deaths were linked to the system, including an elderly Illinois man who was found several hours after he fell trying to get into his home. During March, the Washington Post reported on record cold in Montana. Montana just endured one of the nation's most exceptional cold spells on record. There's a kind of cold that's legitimately dangerous. It can cause frostbite to exposed skin in minutes. In parts of the lower 48 states, such extreme cold is not uncommon for a few days to at most a week. But over the entire month of February and even into March, such exceptional life-threatening cold never departed parts of Montana. Temperatures averaging 20 to 30 degrees below normal gripped huge areas in the state as well as parts of the Dakotas. I would imagine that children in Montana might disagree with the Guardian's assertion that they've never experienced a cold month. On January 31st of this year, Illinois set their all-time record for cold. Last year in 2018, the first week in January was also record cold in the eastern United States. I was flying from Denver to Washington, D.C. that week and took this picture. This is a coal or natural gas-fired power plant. You can see that the plume of steam is rising vertically because the air was dead calm. There was no wind. The only thing keeping the people alive in the record cold was fossil fuels. They had electricity from the fossil fuel-powered power plant, natural gas to heat their homes and cook their food, gasoline to drive their cars and bring food to their stores. If these people had to rely on green energy, they would be dead. The wind turbines were completely motionless because there was no wind. Just last week we had all-time record early October cold here in Boulder, Colorado, the day before Greta Thunberg showed up to protest the heat. I can't imagine how awful it would have been without the natural gas heat in my apartment. And I'm quite certain that Greta was enjoying all of the benefits of fossil fuels herself. Many people would be forced to live like this if Greta got her way. I'm guessing that this person is not too concerned about overheating from global warming. If he had a warm home to go to, the quality of his life would be vastly improved. The entire basis of this panic is fake graphs from organizations like NASA. These graphs show ice melting when it's cold and ice freezing when temperatures are warmer, as I explained in detail in my video yesterday. The people organizing the Extinction Rebellion protest want you to get very angry at the fossil fuel companies who are keeping you from ending up like this poor person. If these Extinction Rebellion protesters were forced to endure 1 week without fossil fuels in the winter, we would never hear another peep out of them. I favor the idea of giving these Extinction Rebellion protesters exactly what they want. They spent their entire lives enjoying all the benefits of fossil fuels. Let them go live with this guy for a week. George Orwell said, "So much of left-wing thought is a kind of playing with fire by people who don't even know that fire is hot." Or in this case, it's people who've never had to deal with cold because they stay inside their fossil fuel powered homes. They want you to throw away hundreds of years of progress over a fake graph from NASA. Visit Toto on the web at realclimatescience.com. He's been pulling back the curtain on junk science and propaganda for a long time.